RadioCare is a quirky old-school radio show playing music from the 60s to present day. RadioCare wants to connect with you through music.
And a very good evening. It's Saturday night and it's another show from RadioCare. I'm Mike Howard and I'm going to be with you for probably about an hour and a half. That's how it normally goes. So tonight we've got the All is Mod and Hippie show. So I'm playing songs from the 1960s, from the mod era, leading into the flower power, sort of summer of love period. So to get us started is one that they used to play at all the school discos or youth club discos. This one is Green Onions and Booker T and the MGs. And that was Green Onions from Booker T and the MGs from 1962. Got into the Billboard Hot 100 in the US and peaked at number 3 by September of 62. Also made it to number 1 on the R&B singles charts for 4 consecutive weeks. It was sort of ping-ponging around the top 10 at that time. Did not appear in the UK singles charts until December 1979, and that was because of the release of the film Quadrophenia, which was for the second wave or second sort of era of mods, the second generation of mods that sort of came about after this film, and that peaked at number 7 in the UK charts in January 1980, stayed there for 12 weeks. So this next one is one by The Who. It's probably one of my favourites by The Who, and this one is I Can't Explain.
I feel hot and cold. Can't explain. Lay down.
And that was a Who I Can't Explain from 1965. Came into the charts at number 45 and reached a position of number 8 in the charts. And it did get into the charts in America, but only just got to number 93. So at that stage, they weren't so big in America. And the mod scene had sort of really taken off by 1965. Lots of Lambrettas and Vespers sort of zipping around London. All over the place, really, and the start of the bank holiday sort of ride outs to the coast. So this next band is one of my favourite mod bands from the 60s. This is Small Faces. Got a soft spot for them. They're from East London, sort of from the East Ham, Manor Park area, and this one is All or Nothing. And that was a Small Faces All or Nothing from 1966. Like I said, I got a bit of a soft spot for the Small Faces. My dad used to talk about them, sort of seeing them in the pubs. He had some sort of weird story about he stepped in and played drums one night with them, but I don't know how true that is. Probably one of my dad's sort of like stories, but I used to tell everyone that I was in a band called Seeing Red, and I'm going to be doing a feature next week on some of our songs. I'm going to sort of incorporate them into the radio set, so you can sort of listen to some of our material, or maybe do a sort of a EP type sort of podcast next week. But we used to play this song, and it always sort of went down well. It reached number 2 in the Netherlands, and it was a number 1 for them in the UK. So this next one is one by the, let's have a look, the Spencer Davis Group, and this one is I'm a Man. So that was the Spencer Davis Group, I'm a Man, and that was from 1967. Reached number 9 in the UK singles charts, number 10 in the US. It was the last single by the band before the brothers Steve and Muff Winwood left to pursue their own separate careers. So one of the last songs that they did. So this next one is from a Hertfordshire band. I think they were from St Albans, over that way. This one is by the Zombies, and this one is She's Not There.
Well, no one told me about her, the way she lied. Well, no one told me about her, how many people cried. But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. Well, no one told me about her. What could I do? Well, no one told me about her, though they all knew. But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. Say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there.
And that was She's Not There by the Zombies. And that was, let's have a look, 1964. Reached number 12 in the UK singles charts and got to number 2 on the American Billboard Hot 100. And in Canada too. So it sort of did really well sort of over there. So this next one, before I sort of go into the next song, I just need to say a mention. A friend of mine from school, Angela, got in touch the other day and asked if I could say happy birthday to Sean. He'll be turning a big 50 this week. And they're off to see Van Morrison very soon. So you may not know, or many people may not know, but Van Morrison was in a band called Them before he sort of went solo. So I'm being a bit crafty. I'm going to play a song by them, and then I will play another Van Morrison one later. So this one is Here Comes the Night.
Wow, here it comes. Here comes the night. With another guy, his arms around her like it used to be with me. Oh, it makes me want to die. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, here it comes. Here comes the night. Here comes the night. can I accept the fact she's chosen him and simply let them be? Whoa, well, here it comes. Here comes the night. Here comes the night. Oh, yeah. She's with him, he's turning down the lights, and now he's holding her the way I used to do. I could see her closing her eyes and telling him lies, exactly like she told me to. Yeah, 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 well, here it comes. Here comes the night, the long, lonely night. Night, 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 night. Whoa, here comes the night.
And that was Here Comes the Night by Them, featuring Van Morrison. Reached number 2 in the UK and Irish singles charts, number 24 in the US, and got to number 17 in the Australian charts in 1964. So this next song is by a very young artist at the time. We all got to sort of know and love him as David Bowie, but at this time he was Davy Jones. He was 17 years old, and it was Davy Jones with the King Bees, and this one's called Liza Jane.
Well, I got a girl that's good to me. Whoa, little Liza. Well, now she ain't more than 5'3". Whoa, little Liza. Well, this little gal is good to me. Whoa, little Liza. Yeah, this little girl need a heavenly. Whoa, little Liza. A little Liza Jane. A little Liza Jane. Little Liza Jane. Little Liza Jane. I got a girl who's good to the. Oh, little Liza. Yeah, this little girl turned me upside down. Oh, little Liza. Well, I love her little curly hair. Oh, little Liza. You know this little girl drives me to despair. Oh, little Liza. A little Liza Jane. Little Liza Jane. Little Liza Jane. Wow, little Liza Jane. Yeah, I got a gal who loves me too. Oh, little Liza. Now she ain't more than 5'2". Yeah. Oh, little Liza. And all this little gal is a good for me. Yeah. Oh, little Liza. You know this little gal is a help on me. Oh, little Liza. A little Liza Jane. Little Liza Jane. Little Liza Jane. Little Liza Jane. Oh, yeah, I love her. Little Liza Jane. When I'm coming back to little Liza, got to drive me insane.
No need to feel lonely. Tune into RadioCare via Podcast Weekly. RadioCare is hosted by Mike Howard, broadcasting from Coventry to the world.
And hello and welcome if you've just joined me tonight, and if you're listening live, we're up to just over 1,100 people listening at the moment, so thank you very much and welcome. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. This week is a Mod and Hippie Flower Power tribute from the 1960s. So it's all the songs from the 1960s. That song I just played was Liza Jane by Davy Jones and the King Bees, who, as I mentioned, we got to know as David Bowie. He was 17 years old when he released that song, but it didn't actually sort of get anywhere in the charts, despite sort of being promoted on Jukebox Jury, Ready Steady Go, and various other shows that it was on. It never actually sort of made it sort of into the charts, and the band was dropped by the label after that. So maybe that was a good thing, because then we got to sort of hear David Bowie as we sort of knew and sort of loved him. So this next one's one by the Hollies, and this one is called Bus Stop, and it's from 1966.
Bus stop, where day she's there, I say, please share my umbrella. Bus stop, bus goes, she stays, love grows under my umbrella. All that summer we enjoyed it, wind and rain and shine. That umbrella we employed it, by August she was mine. Every morning I would see her waiting at the stop. Sometimes she'd shop and she would show me what she bought. All the people stared as if we were both quite insane. Someday my name and hers are going to be the same. That's the way the whole thing started. Silly, but it's true. Thinking of a sweet romance beginning in a queue. Came the sun, the ice was melting, no more sheltering now. Nice to think that that umbrella led me to a vow. Every morning I would see her waiting at the stop. Sometimes she'd shop and she would show me what she bought. All the people stared as if we were both quite insane. Someday my name and hers are going to be the same. Bus stop, where day she's there, I say, please share my umbrella. Bus stop, bus goes, she stays, love grows under my umbrella. All that summer we enjoyed it, wind and rain and shine. That umbrella we employed it, by August she was mine.
And that was Bus Stop by the Hollies from 1966. Reached number 5 in the UK singles charts, and it was the first Hollies hit to make the top 10 in the US, and got to number 5 over there on the Billboard's charts. So before I go into the next song, just need to say a couple of happy anniversaries. So my cousin Tina and Ian, they had their 20th wedding anniversary the other day, and looking at the pictures and all the nice comments and everything on Facebook, it looks like they had a really lovely time. And just to say also happy anniversary to Rachel and David in Great Yarmouth. They're celebrating their 11th wedding anniversary today. So happy anniversary to you. So leading into that one, this one is Everlasting Love by The Love Affair.
back begging you. Won't you forget? Welcome love we once knew. Open up your eyes, then you realize. Here I stand with my everlasting love. Need you by my side, girl, to be my bride. You'll never be denied everlasting love. From the very start, open up your heart. Feel that you fall everlasting love. Need a love to last forever. Need a love to last forever. Well, life really flows. No one really knows till someone's there to show the way to lasting love. Like the sun, it shines endlessly. It shines. You always will be mine. If eternal love. Whenever love went wrong, ours would still be strong. Would have our very own everlasting love. Need a love to last forever. Need a love to last forever. Open up your eyes, then you realize. Here I stand with my everlasting love. Need you by my side, girl, to be my bride. You'll never be denied everlasting love. From the very start, open up your heart. Feel that you fall everlasting love. Whenever love went wrong, I would still be strong.
And that was Everlasting Love from Love Affair in 1968. The group had sort of three major sort of hit singles, and this one reached number one in the UK singles charts. The band became one of the most popular groups in the UK, second in sales to the Beatles. You know, I didn't sort of know they had that sort of much out really, but maybe for that year, 1968, they were really popular. I did get to see them, must be about 25 years ago. They came and done a summer season or a show at Great Yarmouth when I was living over that way. But yep, that was A Love Affair and Everlasting Love. So this next one is one by Herman's Hermits, and this one is There's a Kind of Hush.
There's a kind of hush all over the world. Tonight, all over the world, you can hear the sounds of lovers in love. You know what I mean? Just the two of us and nobody else. In sight, there's nobody else, and I'm feeling good, just holding you tight. So listen very carefully, closer now, and you will see what I mean. It isn't a dream. The only sound that you will hear is when I whisper in your ear, I love you forever and ever. There's a kind
And that was Herman's Hermits, and There's a Kind of Hush from 1967. They were a Manchester-based band, and the song that they released was actually by New Vaudeville Band. And because of the success of it, they decided sort of to release it at the same time. And it got to reached number 7 for Herman's Hermits. And I'm just trying to sort of have a look. In Australia and the UK, peaked at number 5. So there was a bit of a battle going on with the song. But I like that version. So this next one is one by The Animals. And this one is Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood.
Understand me now. Sometimes I feel a little mad, but don't you know that no one alive can always be an angel? When things go wrong, I seem to be bad. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Sometimes I'm so carefree with a joy that's hard to hide. And sometimes it seems that all I have to do is worry, and then you're bound to see my other side. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. If I seem edgy, I want you to know that I never mean to take it out on you. Life has its problems, and I get my share. And that's one thing I never mean to do, 'cause I love you. Oh, 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 baby, don't you know I'm human? I have thoughts like any other one. Sometimes I find myself alone regretting some foolish thing, some little sinful thing I've done. The soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Yes, I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Yes, I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood.
And that was The Animals, and Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood from 1964. Eric Burdon said of the song that he would never have considered sort of pop material, but somehow the song got passed to them and they fell in love with it immediately and decided to record it and put it out. So it was released in November 1964, became a transatlantic hit in early 65, reached number 3 in the UK singles charts, number 15 on the US pop singles charts, and number 4 in Canada. So how can I play a Mod stroke Flower Power playlist without playing the Kinks? My mother-in-law put on Facebook the other day, I've heard her sort of like tell the sort of story before, but it was nice to sort of see it again, that she met the Kinks when she was a young lady in Paris. She was saying that she was on a sort of a jolly sort of like with a company that she was working with for a weekend in Paris, and just happened to sort of like bump into them as you do. So this one is Waterloo Sunset, and it's from 1967, and it's the Kinks.
Dirty old river, must you keep rolling, flowing into the night? People so busy, make me feel dizzy, taxi lights shine so bright, but I don't
the sunset, I am in paradise. Every day I look at the world from my window. Chilly, chilly is the evening time. Waterloo sunset's fine. Millions of people swarming like flies round Waterloo underground. But Terry and Julie cross over the river where they feel safe and sound. And they don't need no friends as long as they gaze on Waterloo sunset. They are in paradise. Waterloo sunset's fine.
And that was Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks from 1967. Featured on their album Something Else by the Kinks. And the single actually reached number 2 in the UK singles charts and was a top 10 hit in Australia, New Zealand and most of Europe. In North America, Waterloo Sunset was released as a single but failed to chart, which was kind of strange really, because it was a great song and still is a great song. So this next song was written by Bob Dylan, and he did actually release it on an album at the same time as these artists brought the song out. So this was 1965, and this is Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Take me for a trip upon your magic swirling ship. All my senses have been stripped, and my hands can't feel to grip, and my toes too numb to step. Wait only for my boot heels to be wandering. I'm ready to go anywhere. I'm ready for to fade onto my own parade. Cast your dancing spell my way. I promise to go under it. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you.
Join Mike Howard at RadioCare as you travel in time from the 1960s to present day. Over an hour of classic tunes and great banter.
Well, I hope you think it's classic tunes and great banter. I enjoy talking to myself. No, I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to you. So this next song is one by the Beatles, and it was from the Help album in 1965, which coincided with the film that was released. I don't think they actually released this as a single, but I just chose it sort of like from the album. It's probably one of my favourite Beatles songs, and this one is called You've Got to Hide Your Love Away.
Here I stand, head in hand, turn my face to the wall. If she's gone, I can't go on, feeling 2 foot small. Everywhere people stare, each and every day, I can see them laugh at me, and I hear them say, hey, you've got to hide your love away. Hey, you've got to hide your love away. How can I even try? I can never win. Hearing them, seeing them in the state I'm in. How could she say to me, love will find a way? Gather round, all you clowns, let me hear you say, hey, you've got to hide your love away. Hey, you've got to hide your love away.
And that was the Beatles, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away from 1965. So welcome if you've just joined us. I'm Mike Howard, you're listening to Radio Care, and tonight's show is the It's All Mod and Hippie show. So songs from the mod era of the 1960s and leading into sort of the flower power era towards the end of the 60s. So this next one is one by Amen Corner, and it's probably one of their most famous ones, and this one is If Paradise is Half as Nice.
Paradise. nice as heaven that you take me to. Who needs paradise? I'd rather have you. Oh yes, I'd rather have you. La 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 la. It's a paradise, it's up in the stars, not in the sky, because it's so far. 'Cause I know it's mine, a heaven on earth, I know where you are. I look from your eyes, the touch of your hands, and I seem to fly to somewhere
And that was Amen Corner, If Paradise Was Half As Nice. And that was from 1969. Got to number 34 in the UK singles charts. But then was reissued in 1976. I think it didn't... no, actually, it didn't do any better sort of then. I'm just sort of looking at my notes. It was actually offered to Dave Clark 5, but they rejected it. They decided it wasn't a song for them. But Amen Corner, who were on the Immediate Records, which was the Mod label sort of at the time, there was lots of artists who you probably wouldn't associate. Rod Stewart, people like that, who were actually on that label and recorded sort of songs. And that was before he sort of joined the Faces, after the Small Faces. I need to correct myself, actually, because I've just looked at my notes, and it does say it did reach number 1 in the UK single charts in 1969, and number 34 in the charts in 1976, so I stand corrected. So this next one is one by Chris Farlow. Just check my notes. Yeah, Chris Farlow, and this one is called Out of Time.
You don't know what's going on. You've been away for far too long. You can't come back. Think you are still mine. You're out of touch, my baby, my old-fashioned baby. I say, baby, 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 you're out of time. Well, baby, 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 you're out of time. I said, baby, 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 you're out of time. Yes, you are, that. Yes, you are. I said, you're just out of there without a doubt. 'Cause baby, 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 you're out of time. You was a clever girl, giving up your social world. You can't come back, be the first in line. Oh yeah, you're obsolete, my baby, my poor unfaithful baby. I said, baby, 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 you're out of time. Well, baby, 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 you're out of time. I said, baby, 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 you're out of time. Yes, you are, now. Yes, you are.
And that was Chris Farlow, Out of Time. That was originally written by Mick Jagger and was recorded by the Stones, released on their 1966 album, Aftermath. But he did actually, this version, Chris Farlow, he gave it to him. Said, go on, take it, mate. You can have it. And that was released in 1966 and got to number 1. Chris Farlow was another one that was signed to the Immediate label. He was probably one of the first artists that was signed to that label. And like I say, it was one of the sort of main sort of mod sort of labels of the 60s. There's probably lots of bands that were very into. It was almost sort of like sort of a bluesy, jazzy type sort of sound, which was very much sort of like what the sort of mod sort of music was about at the time, whereas everyone else was sort of following the Beatles and sort of like the Liverpool beat sort of sound. A lot of the other artists or other sort of people were sort of following a more sort of a traditional sort of bluesy type sound. So this next artist, next band, they're called The Herd. They had a song called From the Underworld, which is probably one of their most sort of famous ones. But I've chosen one which is called I Don't Want Our Loving to Die. And it was, The Herd were founded in 1965. And in 1966, a very, very young 16-year-old Peter Frampton joined the band as the lead singer and guitarist. Had 3 UK top 20 hits, including the one that I mentioned, The Underworld, and this song, before Frampton left in 1968 to join Humble Pie with Steve Marriott, who had left the Small Faces. So there you go. So this one is I Don't Want Our Loving to Die.
Only you can help yourself, so try not to mislead her. You've done many foolish things, but deep inside you need her. Ooh. You got to believe it, just open your mind. My tangled emotions, I need to unwind. 'Cause baby, though you know I'll never leave you, never wanted to deceive you, although I do. But I don't want our loving to die, and I'm so tired of living a lie. Though I know I've been weak, I can try. Yeah, I'll try. You got to believe me, I mean what I say. I try not to wonder when you go away. But baby, though I never make advances, seems there are no end chances to go astray. But I don't want our loving to die, and I'm so tired of living a lie. Though I know I've been weak, I can try. Yeah, I'll try. Only you can help yourself, so try not to mislead her. You've done many foolish things, but deep inside you need her. Cause baby, though you know I'll never leave you, never wanted to deceive you, although I do. But I don't want our loving to die, and I'm so tired of living a lie. Though I know I've been weak, I can try. Yeah, I'll try. No, I don't want our loving to die, and I'm so tired of living a lie. Though I know I've been weak, I can try. Yeah, I'll try.
to feel lonely? Tune into RadioCare via Podcast Weekly. RadioCare is hosted by Mike Howard, broadcasting from Coventry to the world.
I say it every week, from Coventry to the world and beyond. I feel like Buzz Lightyear. So that was a Herd, I Don't Want Our Loving to Die. I wasn't so sure about that one once I started playing it. I thought, ooh, is this a serious song or not? But I committed myself, we played it, it's done. Don't know what you thought of it. It might be one that you actually liked, sort of back in the day. Maybe I should have played the Underworld, but it's not my sort of place to judge, really. But yeah, okay. That song did actually reach number 5 in the UK charts, number 4 in New Zealand and number 5 in Ireland. So there you go, it was liked. So this next song, if it wasn't for this band, we wouldn't have had Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. This is the Beach Boys, and they brought out Pet Sounds in 1966, and Paul McCartney got to hear Pet Sounds and thought, we've got to do something like that. So that's what influenced him and the rest of the band doing the Sgt. Pepper album. But from this album, from Pet Sounds, we've got God Only Knows.
Love you, but long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, well, life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me, so what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. Life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me, so what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without. God only knows what I'd be without.
And that was the Beach Boys from 1966. God Only Knows from Pet Sounds album reached number 2 in the UK singles charts and number 6 in Ireland. So talking about Ireland, we're going back over there, over to Northern Ireland, and I played one earlier by the band Them and mentioned Van Morrison, and this one is one of his solo songs, and it's Brown Eyed Girl.
days when the rains came down in the hollow, playing a new game, laughing and a running, hey, hey, skipping and a jumping in the misty morning fog with our hearts a thumping, and you, my brown-eyed girl, and you, my brown-eyed girl. And whatever happened to Tuesday and so slow, going down the old man with a transistor radio, standing in the sunlight laughing, hiding behind a rainbow's wall, slipping and sliding all along the waterfall with you, my brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, just like that. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. So hard to find my way now that I'm all on my own. I saw you just the other day. My, you have grown. Cast my memory back there, Lord. Sometimes I'm overcome thinking about making love in the green grass behind the stadium with you, my brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la in the green grass?
Song that everyone sings on karaoke still today. That was Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl from 1967. Got to number 10 in the US Billboard Hot 100. Haven't got the details for where it got in the UK, but I imagine it was quite a hit over here as well. But I'm pleased that it was a breaking sort of a hit for him sort of over in the US. So this next one, I'm getting very near the end of the set. It seems to be a shorter set than normal, but I think it's probably because a lot of the songs in the 60s were like 2 minutes long, or just over 2 minutes. So although I've got about the same amount of songs, seems a bit shorter. So this next one is one by The Loving Spoonful, and this one is Daydream, and it's from 1966.
What a day for a daydream. What a day for a daydreaming boy. And I'm lost in a daydream, dreaming about my bundle of joy. And even if time ain't really on my side, it's one of those days for taking a walk outside. I'm blowing the day to take a walk in the sun and follow my face on somebody's new mode lawn. I've been having a sweet dream. I've been dreaming since I woke up today. It's starring me in my sweet dream, 'cause she's the one makes me feel this way. And even if time is passing me by a lot, I couldn't care less about the dues you say I got. Tomorrow I'll pay the dues for dropping my load, a pie in the face for being a sleepy bulldog. Or you may be daydreaming for 1,000 years. What a day for a daydream, custom made for a daydreaming boy. I'm lost in a daydream, dreaming about my bundle of joy.
And that was a Loving Spoonful, Daydream from 1966. Got to number 2 in the US Billboard Hot 100 charts and got to number 2 in the UK singles charts. In New Zealand, the song spent 3 weeks at number 1 and it reached number 1 in Canada, number 13 in Australia. So this last song that I'm going to play is one by Scott McKenzie, and this one is definitely one from that Flower Power era. It's San Francisco, Be Sure to Wear Flowers in Your Hair, and that's from the Summer of Love 1967, and this one is San Francisco. So I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. It has been a bit a shorter show than normal, but like I say, I think it's because the songs are a little bit shorter. Well, they were back then, sort of just over 2 minutes long. So next week will be the normal show, but I'm going to do a special EP type show during the week with music from the band that I was in, Seeing Red, back in the 90s. I've only got some tracks that I've sort of found the other day that I'm sort of able to play on here. There's like a couple of demos and a couple of recordings, but I just want to do an EP and just talk about them. We were very much influenced by the sort of mod era. We loved sort of the mod music of the past and sort of in the 90s as well. So we did a lot of covers from the bands that were around then. But these are a couple of original songs that I will play and just talk a little bit about the band. So I'll release that later in the week. So just to say goodnight to you all, have a brilliant weekend, whatever you're doing, stay safe, and I hope you can tune in next week. And this one is Scott McKenzie, and it's San Francisco.
If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you're going to San Francisco, you're gonna meet some gentle such a strange vibration, people in motion. There's a whole generation with a new explanation, people in motion. San Francisco, summertime
RadioCare is a quirky old-school radio show playing music from the 60s to present day. RadioCare wants to connect with you through music.